Continuing our conversation now with Marcus Miller. And Marcus, there is a young kid out there right now that is watching this interview, and he is saying, that is me. First of all, if you grew up in the school system I grew up in the West Virginia school system, there was nobody to select you out of the classroom and say that Marcus, whose hands are going all over the place, and he's thinking this and he's thinking that, is actually on the spectrum that we want for a Harvard, or Yale, or Princeton, or Purdue. So talk to that young kid that maybe has a teacher that's saying, you know, you'd be pretty good as a foreman in the mines or in the mills, as opposed to being on the path to where you are right now.
First off, I love you. I'm glad you exist. You're never be afraid to shine your light, young child. Second, here's how you cultivate that thing. A lot of people don't know this because picking out disparate kind of elements of life and putting them together in your own way is not something that most people are taught. So what you want to do is you want to just be hungry and you want to be curious. You want to read everything you can, and you want to take what you read and figure out where it lives inside of you, where it lives inside of your body, where it lives inside of your mind. And as soon as possible, as soon as you can reasonably do it, start creating, start playing around. We're in an age now where there's access to information anywhere. Anything you want to learn, you can look up on the internet. You can look it up on YouTube, find some videos, and figure out how you best get information and how to spend your time creating and building things. Don't let anybody tell you that, well, you know, it's just in your imagination. This isn't real. A lot of things take time. Yeah.
What if I say, for instance, I see Elon Musk, I see Jeff Bezos, I see Bill Gates, but I don't see me?
Right. You are the one that you're waiting for. If you don't see you, that means that's an opportunity for you to step into that role. It doesn't mean that it's impossible. Jay-Z has a line from his song "Ambitious" off of the Blueprint 3. He says, "All right, but I'm different. How can you tell me what I can't be? How can you tell me what I can be based on what everybody isn't?" Right? Like, you can be the one to step into that. You have that power. You have that light. You have that curiosity. The world will always try to take it away from you. The world will always try to put you in a box. And you can choose to ignore it. It takes some strength to ignore it. You have to stand up to it and disagree with what it's telling you. But you have that power. And never forget that.
I'm assuming that your father, the mathematician, and others played a big role in your life.
Matt, yeah, absolutely. My father always had books in the house. He also had music in the house. He had an enormous record collection, so there was always music in the house. I actually learned the saxophone because he played the saxophone in college. He didn't play professionally, but when they were handing out instruments in 4th grade, we could just go up in the attic and get that one instead of having to buy or rent a new instrument. And I remember there was a time when, you know, he was going for his executive MBA, you know, doing night school for his business degree. And you know, he would sit me down and say, okay, we're going to do my math homework now. We're going to do bond valuations. Here's what these symbols mean. Let's just go. And that's what we're doing. And I might have been in 2nd or 3rd grade. Most of it I didn't understand at the time, but just the fact that I could sit there and do this with him and he could talk and explain, and I just got to have that relationship. It was enormous. And since then, I've had so many mentors who've helped shape me and made me who I am. So another thing that I want to add is find mentors, look them up, reach out to people on the internet. The worst they can do is not respond. The second worst thing they can say is no. But then they might say, "Oh yeah, I actually do see your potential. I am going to pick you out and give you access to worlds that you wouldn't be able to get on your own." And that's happened to me more often than not.
Marcus Miller, the first man to put Erykah Badu, Chopin, and now Jay-Z into the same broadcast of the Black Youth Channel. Marcus, thanks for being with us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
We want to thank each and every one of you for joining us for this edition of DC Today, and a reminder that, as always, even in the darkest times, you can find a reason to smile.